Welcome back, everyone. Today we're going to be taking a look at some footage from my Nuzlocke attempt at PokeRogue. Well, correction, I'm going to be looking at the 147th attempt at a Nuzlocke of PokeRogue. But if there's one thing I'm good at, it's obsessing over something until I eventually burn out and never touch it again. So we're just going to go with the best footage I can get. So, the rules are pretty simple. You can only catch one Pokemon every 10 levels. If anything faints, it's dead, you can't use it anymore. I can only take free items at the end of each level, can't buy anything. And I think that was pretty much it. Even if a revive shows up in a free items, I can't take that either. So other than that, we're going to get into it. I've kind of cut the footage down to show mostly the interesting parts. We'll find out whenever you're watching this. I'm currently editing it right now, so we'll find out how that goes. But the early parts, I kind of just left some of this in so I could ramble a little bit. But we do catch an early Nincada right here, which is great, because he's essentially 2 free Pokemon whenever he evolves. And Shedinja can really put in some work if your opponent can't counter him. Unfortunately, I did get a very terrible Nincada here, so Shedinja's probably going to be pretty useless too. But hey, he's invincible, right? While I'm breezing through these early trainer battles that are pretty irrelevant, I'm going to take a moment to remind you to like and subscribe, drop a comment down below, let me know if you think I'm going to be able to beat this or not. And if you've tried a Nuzlocke of it, how'd you get, how'd that go? How'd you do? Anything like that? Yeah, these early trainers, they're pretty much nothing at this point. Yeah, so none of these battles are really going to become relevant until we start hitting probably closer to the 50s and so. But other than that, remind you to keep an eye on Zeraora's health, because much like the Super Saiyan cat that he is, he's going to survive with like 1 health, 4 health throughout this entire run. Like, he is the luckiest. I mean, I don't even know how to explain it, really. So we do go for the Zigzagoon right here, and I was really hoping to get Pickup on him, and I did get lucky and got it. I didn't really care about the nature or anything, but Pickup is just so busted in this game. Just, you're gonna see just pretty much berries after every battle. He collects a couple of Mystic Waters throughout the run, like 6 or 7 Silk Scarfs that nobody really cares about except for him, and so he's gonna hoard them. But other than that, that's pretty much all he's gonna do. He's just kind of there to gimp my team a little bit, only give me 5 Pokemon, but to just fuel up on items. He's a little thief. So this battle of Poochyena is basically nothing. I only left this in here just, I don't know, I just thought it'd be funny. But I did cut out the part right before that where Rattata did die. But honestly, he was only in the party to be switch fodder, so he doesn't really matter anyways. If you like Rattata, I'm sorry. I do go for this Shroomish right here, just because I really like Breloom. Pretty good all around, and I needed a good grass type. Something that could help with the weakness my team has for ground, so. And, of course, get the Master Ball right there. I'm going to have to grab that.
That's a surprise tool that can help us later.
Other than that, we're just kind of trucking forward through here. We got another Ivy battle. This goes pretty much how you would expect. I got lucky with her picking Quaxel for her starter. And having Zeraora, he's pretty much just going to steamroll it every time it shows up. And then she seems to have kind of gone for a team to specifically be bad against me. Since, you know, she's also got that water type and then she's got the Saravia, so for the most part, I don't think she's really going to cause much of an issue until much later in the game. So Erica, I actually expected to pose a lot more of a problem, because I don't really have much of a counter for that right now. But then I remembered, oh yeah, Triple Axel. So it's got pretty crappy accuracy, you know, 90%, which in Pokemon, if it's not 100%, it's 50%. But I got pretty lucky with it pretty much the whole run, and I think I only missed a couple times, if that. So she really wasn't a big deal at all. And you've probably noticed at this point, for a while, it's just going to be the Zeraora show. So, much like the Saiyans on Dragon Ball, he's just stealing the whole limelight. He's just going to let me power up punch and steamroll through a lot of the game. The hope is going to be, though, that I can get the right items and everything, get Rhyhorn evolved up into Rhyperior. I know he's not that great, he's super slow, but he's just one of my favorite Pokemon, I love him. And so we do have Zigzagoon evolving into Lanoon here. Don't really care too much about that, but I do try to build him in a way that's going to be useful, like Baby Doll Eyes. If I ever actually do have to use him, it's not a bad move to be able to throw out as a last ditch to help the team out. But other than that, we're hoping for maybe like a good Psychic type, something fast like an Alakazam or something. We get Ninjask, speaking of fast, but Again, his nature is bad. He's basically going to be benched. There's not a whole lot that he can do with as weak as he is with an attack down. That's pretty much the only thing good he's got going for him is we can get a baton or something to pass with him. And then right here we got Shroomish finally evolving, which he's not a very good nature either, but at least even with only the special attack up, he can still do something. His base attack is so high, it doesn't even really matter. This boss fight's gonna once again be nothing. We're gonna pretty much just kick him in the face, and Triple Axel lets us break through the shield, so that's pretty good. It's another good thing about the multi-hit moves on here. And so this Ferris Seed, I really wanted this. I really like Ferrothorn. And so I was trying to figure out how exactly I could go about it without killing him. So I did a little fake out here, and then I'm going to think for a second, and end up going with Spark, I believe. Yeah. And then the universe remembers that it doesn't like me, and he self-destructs. So for this Loudred fight, I was like, hey, let's see how much damage Ninjask can do. And then he dies. So let's all just take a moment of silence to remember him. And I remember I don't care, so we're just gonna move on. Alright, and so we're coming to the beach now. We got a nice Marini right here. So, obviously, Marini, Toxapex are very good. And so, just like that, I've decided, you know what, Ninjask, you've been replaced. So, we're gonna grab that. Unfortunately, Merciless isn't actually implemented in the game yet, so. But we do have another Ivy fight right here, which, again, Zeraora is gonna clean up on. She does have a Gibble now, which might be an issue later. But Triple Axel just took him out like it was nothing. And then he's once again just going to sweep the entire rest of her team like usual. So we do get Drill Run on Rhyhorn here, which is big for the fact that I won't have to risk killing Zeraora if they're out together. I can't tell you how many runs I did that on forgetting that Bulldoze hits my partner as well. I don't even want to talk about that. So anyways, alright. Ivy's out of the way, Marini's evolving here, so now we got Toxapex. He's going to be pretty big moving forward. Baneful Bunker is just amazing whenever it actually works out well. And so Toxic Spikes is really good on this too, since you can kind of carry over any kind of, stat gains or any kind of field effects until you get into the next trainer battle. So Ivy's gone now, and so we're going to grab Experience Charm and keep on trucking in the beach. So we do grab Thunder Punch right here, which is a really big early game buff for Zeraora. Then we get our Rhyhorn evolving, so Rhydon might actually be useful now. And probably not going to take Hammer Arm. Yeah. Sometimes I take it, sometimes I don't. It just depends on how I'm feeling that day. So this trainer battle, pretty much going to go the same as the rest of them. Just going to power up punch and then just keep on hitting everything. Conquerors actually gave me a lot of trouble throughout all of my runs. Like almost every time I ran into one, I had an issue, and this time luckily it was pretty early in the game. I had a Conqueror boss in one of the later levels in one run that just swept my entire team. So here we have an example of Lanoon just going shopping for everybody, just berries everywhere. I think at this rate I pretty much never have to take berries from the items that I get. And he's also got his first Silk Scarf for the collection that he's starting. I don't know what it is that he's obsessed about with them, but he just keeps on taking them. He does snatch, I think the lucky egg that I have right now came from him as well. And then here we're moving into the Misty fight, which again is gonna be just super simple. And I actually did almost die there, but again, survival 1 health, Thunder Punch, and then he's just gonna keep on sweeping through the rest of her team. So I did question that. I think I cut the pause out, but for some reason, I thought that Stormy would outspeed me. I couldn't remember if he got Swift Swim or not, and I was like, And so we do take the Earthquake there to replace the Drill Run, which will hit me if I'm in a double battle, but at least I remember those things. I'd never remember that with Bulldoze. But yeah, this whole fight is just anxiety with the 1 health, but I was pretty confident nothing else was going to outspeed me. And so this fight here is really only relevant for one thing, and that's an ability called Bold Breaker. If you're smart, you've already put together what's about to happen. I was not smart. I did not put this together. So if you remembered it, congratulations, you did something I didn't, because now Shedinja's dead. And I was a little bit upset about that. I actually had to cut out about 5 minutes of me just sitting there freaking out the entire time because I was so pissed and could not figure out for the life of me how that happened. Alright, so we do have the Wailord just getting taken out with an easy Thunder Punch. And then here we have another example. Lanoon finding another lucky egg for us. I'm telling you, if you get anything with pickup, just use it. Like, it's so good in this game. And then we're gonna grab the black belt here and throw it on Breloom. So, Gyarados here. I was contemplating whether or not I was gonna catch him. And I probably could have edited this down a little bit more, but I like to draw out for suspense, you know? So the hardest thing was trying not to kill him. And it kind of goes pretty well. We already saw that he had Dragon Dance, and so I was like, alright, yeah, I need this. And so we managed to catch him with that first Rogue Ball, and we get an amazing Gyarados. Adamant with Intimidate. He already has Dragon Dance and Waterfall. Like, it's just an easy take. So we're going to replace Shedinja with that one. So he's, you know, it was kind of nice. Shedinja dies, and then we immediately find a Gyarados. And then right here, like right after, we get a Linking Cord. And so we're going to use that on Rhydon to go ahead and get a Rhyperior. So we're going to get just a major power buff. I mean, we lost Shedinja, but we got Gyarados and Rhyperior in the same fight. And then this one, I just left that clip in because it's a Malamar on level 69. There's a joke in there somewhere, but I'm not creative enough to find it. And so we're going to grab this Calcium, throw on Toxapex. He's really the only special attacker that we have. And then this Empoleon fight is going to go pretty much exactly how we would expect it to. Just real easy. And so right after this, we're going to manage to grab a Avalanche TM for Rhyperior. I'm going to get rid of Flare Blitz, mostly just because he doesn't have immunity to recoil anymore. And I think we only used Avalanche one time, but it comes in clutch when we do. And then we got Zeraora surviving with, like, no health again. I don't know how he keeps managing this. But we're just going to switch back out into Toxapex right here. And then Toxapex and Gyarados are just going to put in work. Just curb stomping this Quillfish into Nozo. Alright, so we got Lanoon grabbed a Mystic Water for Gyarados. And then we're going to pick up this King's Rock. We're going to throw that on Zeraora for now. It works really good. If it works the same way in this, things like Triple Axle, multi-hit moves, you're going to get multiple chances to proc that. I don't remember if Zeraora actually ever procced it. It wasn't very useful on him. But Gyarados ends up putting in a nice little usage of it later. And so we got a real clutch switch right there, going to Rhyperior right before he exploded on us. And so, I can't remember, I think this might actually be, we go for the Avalanche here, yeah. And so we get the Avalanche, but okay, so it didn't actually work there. It must have been another time. I don't remember if I actually left it in this footage or not when he's useful with it. But yeah, it was a pretty close call with Rhyperior there. He thinks he's Zeraora or something. And so we're just going to go in with Gyarados, Dragon Dance up. He can't really do a whole lot to us, and then we're just going to sweep the rest of our team. And I think from this point is kind of when we get to the Gyarados show, where he's just going to be Dragon Dancing and waterfalling through a lot of the game. Alright, so now we got Roxanne out of the way. We're going to move straight into our next fight with Ivy. And here you're just going to get to see an example of Gyarados. Just pretty much just making a mockery of her team. She has not been a challenge a single time yet. But we are starting to get closer to the part of the game where stuff is going to get a little bit harder. We're going to start seeing pretty much every trainer is going to have Pokemon with like 7+ items on it. Usually the runs go pretty easy up until about this point, I guess. Right around the hundreds is when it gets a little bit harder. But then if you can push through past like 120, you're usually good up until about 150 or so. It's not really much of a challenge on most of my runs until I got to that point. And then from there, it's usually like the Elite Four that ends up wiping me out or something. So we do have Gyarados holding on by a thread right there. And then Ivy's out of the way, and we're going to move on to the Mudsdale boss. Which this one, I was a little bit concerned about. I didn't know if I could one-shot him or not. And, you know, Gyarados isn't going to take much of a hit from that. So I was kind of questioning who I was going to switch into here. But I decided to let Breloom have a little bit of spotlight there. So he went for the Sun Spore to paralyze it. I couldn't remember. I don't think Mudsdale's very fast. But, you know, I didn't have a good answer for ground types, really. Pretty much everything was weak to it or just not very defensive, so. And see, there we do have Rhyperior coming with his Avalanche, finally, and using it, and then basically never touches it again. Alright, and then coming in here, we got some good teamwork with Rhyperior and Toxapex going for Baneful Bunker, Earthquake. So it's a combo I actually ended up using a lot. We have picked up Plasma Fist on Zeraora. And it's just a huge move, even without it turning the normal type to electric. We don't really care about that. And then Blaine, we're just gonna kind of do the same thing with Gyarados, just Dragon Dance and Waterfall. And now that we got another Malamar, I thought of a really great joke for earlier, but I can't use it now, wouldn't be the same. And I refuse to go back and edit. I'm actually not allowed to, it's in my contract. Alright, and so here we've got Linoone now up to 3 Silk Scars. So go ahead and drop a comment down there and let me know how many Silk Scars you think he's going to have by the end of the run. I'll give you a hint, it's going to be more than this. And if you get it right, then you'll win the satisfaction of knowing that you were right, and I'll be proud of you. And that's the best thing you could ever win. And don't go cheating by skipping ahead, because I'll know. Well, I won't know, but the algorithm will know. And, I mean, that just hurts the video, and that's mean. Don't do that. And so now we have our next rival battle. And I'm sure this one will be just as easy as all the other ones. You fool. You believed me. I've got you right where I want you, being confident in me and stuff. If you've played and you've gotten this far, you know what battle this is. This is not gonna be easy. You're so dumb for believing me, come on. Don't let me trick you like that, it's so easy. You guys have believed everything I've said so far, right? Right? Well, you shouldn't have. I mean, for example, I said Rhyperior was only gonna use Avalanche that one time. And look, he just used it again. And it did well. Alright. But we're gonna get back into actually what's going on here. So we're gonna switch into Toxapex. And it's gonna go super well. Or he's gonna switch into a Steel type and it's gonna go super badly. But we do get Toxic Spike set up, so that's pretty good. If half of her team didn't have Flying type. But that's okay. It's gonna be fine. It's all fine. So obviously we don't want to keep Breloom out. So I don't really have much to switch in here. And so I thought for a minute, do I want to sacrifice Linoone? Do I want to, you know, try to throw out and get rid of Rhyperior or something? So we ended up going with the Toxapex. Figured he could survive a couple of hits, and I mean, I was right about one. So now we come back into the same question. Do we want to sacrifice Linoone? But we need that pickup. Do we want to sacrifice Rhyperior? And so we just go into Gyarados, and I kind of dilly-dallied around trying to get in a switch, and so I kind of like messed myself up here. I really should have just went into one of the two and just took the sack in order to get a free switch in, but so we do end up getting rid of Rhyperior here, which it hurt. Kind of pained my soul a little bit, but he was probably the one I cared the least about out of the whole party. And so it did let us get Rayquaza confused, and so Gyarados was able to come out and at least get a little bit of a hit in. So Scale Shot was putting in some pretty good work, and since it's only partially implemented, it doesn't actually drop your stats in this game. So that's really good. And so I kind of just decided to go for the risk with him being confused, and luckily he hit himself. And so I didn't really have a good switch in, I didn't have an extra plan here. And so I was like, you know, can I switch into Zeraora and maybe he'll get the confusion off and I can have that free switch and then, you know, possibly outspeed. I don't think he would have even outsped him, but he could have maybe tried. And so I just end up going for Scale Shot again, rolling the dice, and then it works out again. I think he hit himself 3 times in a row right there. That's pretty good. So see, it wasn't all bad. And then we get hit with the Intimidate. So, you know, I'm still not completely done messing with y'all. But from here, it should be pretty easy. We got rid of the real threats, so we can just Thunder Punch this Raptor. And then she's going to go into Veluza, the psychic fish thing that killed Shedinja, so we're going to get payback with Plasma Fist. I think I called it Thunder Punch a second ago. Like I said, it's in my contract, I can't re-edit. And so we're just going to Plasma Fist the bird thing I forgot the name of. Alright, so then we got Gym Leader Juan coming up here. And I mean, this one's going to be kind of a difficult fight. I'm just messing with you. This is going to be super easy. Barely an inconvenience. So he's going to come in. We're just going to get Breloom out there, knocking a couple out, get some paralysis going on, and then we're going to switch into Gyarados. And he's just going to come in, swinging his big tail around, Dragon Dance. And I think I go for it again. Can't remember. No. Alright, so we're just gonna go for Scale Shot. And so we're kind of getting lucky with the hits. I think Scale Shot only has like an 80 or 90% accuracy. And then from here, we're just gonna Waterfall. And it's funny, because even with the Wailord, I kind of questioned it for a second. And then I remembered that Lanoon's picked me up like 3 Mystic Waters. And so Gyarados is gonna one-shot this Wailord here with a Water attack. And so we're just going to do the same thing to Walrein, because at this point I was feeling pretty confident. I was like, if I can take the Wailord out, I'm pretty sure Walrein's going to go down too. I think I actually had that exact conversation with myself. That's probably why I was waiting so long right here. And so, hits him, and actually does not take him out in the first hit, so I tricked myself there. And then Whiscash is going to be pretty easy right here. It's kind of funny that, you know, Wailord went out so easy with his like 600 health, and the Walrein and the Whiscash actually gave me trouble. Alright, and we're just gonna have some really good items just all in a row right here. We've got another Master Ball coming up, and then a Grip Claw like right after, which is just amazing. And then we're gonna run into an Uxie here, which we're gonna finally chuck one of our Master Balls and go and grab that, replace Rhyperior. So he's pretty decent. And then right after, just another Master Ball. It's just one after the other. And then, so we're going to go ahead, and I was debating on getting rid of Lanoon, because we're getting pretty close to the end of the game, and he's not going to be very useful, you know, in the final fight. But I do finally end up deciding on Breloom here for Excadrill. And so, we got an Okie fight here, and I really considered catching him as well, but I didn't know how useful he'd actually be, and I already have one caught before, so... And then, like, right after, Egg Voucher Plus. Oh, it's just a little Cricketune.
And
then we have our battle with Skyla. There's not a whole lot to say here. I mean, flying type. I got Zero Aura. So, pretty much just getting a Plasma Fist Talonflame. Another Plasma Fist for the Yanmega. Plasma Fist to Swoobat. Punch Braviary in the face, too. I mean, it's worked so far, so let's punch the Sigilyph in the face. And then punch the Swanna. Which all of them were that easy. Alright, next up we have the Elite Four. So Rico was pretty straightforward. I'm pretty sure I just Dragon Dance and Waterfall the whole way through. So most of the Elite Four wasn't too big of a deal until, well, you'll see. So yeah, we're just gonna keep Waterfalling through Rika. And then Donphan comes out, Waterfall. Sturdy kind of messed us up there. We got a little pucker factor going on there. But Gyarados managed to hold on. Luckily, he's pretty bulky, so. The Sandstorm was slowly starting to get to me, though. But we managed to get through there. 69, nice. And so Cloudsaur came up, and I was kind of concerned, and then I remembered he's a special wall, so then the concern kind of disappeared. And so then we got Camera up. That's an easy one hit. And so, by the end of it, we had 5 health going into Poppy. Alright, so we're gonna use Excadrill here. You know, Steel type should be pretty easy. So, we Earthquake. Luckily, she had a Terra on that one. So, it was kind of a mess up on her part. I kind of hesitated on the Bronzong, though, because I was pretty sure he had Levitate. And so, I kind of took a second here. I just noticed his health was 666. It's kind of nice, considering he has Feature. Yeah, so we end up baton passing over to Zero here. And so he's just gonna fake out, because I couldn't remember if he gets Sturdy or not. I wasn't really sure what he was rocking. So, go with the Plasma Fist and take him out, you know. Steel conducts electricity, right? And so, Orthworm, I don't know. Is he good? I don't remember what his base stats are, but I just remember being very underwhelmed by him in Gen 9. And then Tinkaton, I wasn't too sure what I could do with this, but I didn't remember it being super tanky or anything, so, you know. And then it's kind of funny, she had 2 of them, and they just both went out the same way. And so, Kaparaja, I don't know much about that one either, except that he dies real easy when you punch him in the face. Alright, we don't really have a whole lot to say about this Larry fight, so I'm just gonna let it go with the theme, you know. Oh man, did I get you. You really thought there was nothing going on here. But no, Kakarot's luck finally ran out. So Zeraora finally went down. Did not see that one coming. I really thought that I was going to one-shot him there. But, you know, things happen. Best Pokemon get lost. That's cool. Anyways, other than that, nothing happens. I super promise this time. So we're just going to let the music go again. So next we have our battle with Hassel, and he certainly lived up to his name, because I had to battle him twice, because freaking server kicked me after I beat him the first time. And the second time I fought him, as you will see, the battle does not go super well. So we're already kind of struggling here, we don't really know, you know, I lost track of the stages and didn't realize I was coming into this, so I didn't switch Excadrill out. So we ended up having to go in the Noivern with our Gyarados out, which he gets lucky with the little scale shot on there. And so, however, we don't outspeed, but we do have the Reviver Seed. So, however, Salaman's coming in with his little Intimidate going on, so we kind of take the risk and go for a Dragon Dance and get lucky, because for some reason he chooses Flamethrower, and we managed to make him flinch with our King's Rock, so it was pretty good. And we didn't miss with the Scale Shot, so, you know. But second Salamence, wasn't too sure if we get lucky with that, and he still manages to kill me with the Flamethrower. So, RIP Gyarados. And so, we did get lucky with the Baneful Bunker, managed to poison the Salamence there. But I wasn't 100% sure what to do, I'm kind of just trying to stall out for the poison. But I was pretty sure if I went for a cover there, he was going to hit me and kill me, because I can't get too lucky with Flamethrowers. So Lanoon comes out for the first time in, I think, the entire run, and manages to take the Salamence out. So he has his shining moment right there. And so I was trying to think of a way to save him, just because I wanted to be able to carry him to the end, but he ended up having to fall. So that's kind of upsetting. Haxorus taking out Lanoon like that. So we come back out with Toxapex, and we're basically just going to do the same thing, just to recover Baneful Bunker, kind of stall out, and naturally works really well on that one. Draggle, we got lucky that he was Terrid, so we were actually able to poison him here. So he got Toxic from the spikes whenever he came out. So he's pretty much dead the second he comes back in. Excalibur, I don't think I was too worried about this. Again, we can, as long as we can survive one hit, we can basically just stall infinitely. We had so many berries on Toxapex too. I mean, you see he's kind of dwindling now. So Haxorus comes back out, and I don't know why I went for the Venoshock on that one. I could have just stalled him out, but... And then Dragalge? But yeah, so he died pretty much as soon as he hit the field again. And then Excalibur, and that's it. So going into this next fight with Turtonator, we kind of need to fill our team back out, but we're pretty much out of time. And as you see, I still had 2 Master Balls left. Problem is, it got so late into the run, and I had a team that I was really confident in and wanted to keep, and by the time they all got wiped out, there wasn't really any chance to catch anything, so the Master Balls were pretty much wasted. I mean, it helped me catch that one pretty quick, I guess, but... So I'm not really sure how much work Turtonator's going to be able to put in, but we're going to find out. So we're going into the champion battle here. But before we get into that, I just want to go ahead and say, anyone that's actually still watching, you're the real MVPs. I've seen the analytics. I know how many people are still here. So this fight's going to pretty much go the same as the others for right now. we're just gonna keep Toxapex out and just keep on stalling and trying to slip in some Toxic Spikes when we can, since we do know that, you know, these trainers like to switch out a lot and stuff and try to counter. So we're gonna get the Baneful Bunker off pretty easy, and then we kind of sneak in a Toxic Spikes right there, and then we're gonna recover back up and just kind of go back and forth right here. So she switches into Politoed, which of course the Lumberries are going to be kind of annoying, but eventually we can wean, you know, kind of wean those down. But there's not a whole lot that it could do, and then I was like, oh wait, yep, it can. It's got Earth Power, so. But we do manage to get the second layer of Toxic Spikes out, and then we're going to try to switch into Uxie and predict that. So Uxie actually does a lot more damage than I thought, since we've kind of switched those Silt Scarves off of the Lanoon onto it. So Swift is still able to do some good damage to Grimmsnarl, even though, you know, him being immune to Psychic, so. Kind of thought about switching out right here, and then I was like, you know, I don't want to take a free hit, so we're just going to see how this goes. And he really didn't do as much as I expected him to. Probably should have just went for 2 Swifts and taken him out real quick, but I was trying to see how much Giga Drain would do and if I could heal anything back from that, but it wasn't really worth it. So here we're just going to go right back into the Toxapex, assuming we'd be able to take a hit. If he had done Zen Headbutt, we would have been screwed. So right there, we do a little misclick. I meant to use Baneful Bunker, and I guess I just slipped and hit down. As soon as I did it, I knew it, and so we lost Toxapex because of that. But Escadrille is going to come in and clean up, and then we're just going to predict, go right back into the Uxie, because I'm assuming he's going to go for Earth Power here. And then, of course, he does. So Uxie's going to come in with the Giga Drain, which really didn't do nearly as much as I expected it to, but, I mean, he's more defensive, I guess. So he doesn't have a whole lot of special attack. And so with Terra Pokus, I don't actually know much about this one. He's relatively new. I haven't played Scarlet and Violet since he's been released, so I wasn't really sure what he was capable of. So we were just like, alright, you know what? We're going to try out the little turtle dragon over here and see what we can do with him. And he does surprisingly well in this fight. Just kind of spamming the shell trap and then dies. He didn't last real long. But I mean, he put in a little bit of a good job while he was here. And so, luckily he was having to recharge there. But I wasn't really sure where to go from here, because I was pretty confident he was going to kill me, but we just kind of made it work out. And so we're kind of scrambling at this point. We don't really have a lot left. And so, of course, Uxie ends up going down here. So now we're left with just our Excadrill with a whole 19 health. So for some reason he goes for Rock Polish, and so right here is like a last ditch. I'm like, this guy's gonna murder me, and so I just go for Fissure, and I miss, but then so does he, and then Fissure hits. Fissure, yeah, that. So that was like the clutch play right there. And so now we're moving into the final area where I can't catch anything, and I do still have my other teammates. So I was debating on releasing the others immediately, but they do have items that I really wanted to grab off. So what I decided to do instead was basically just leave them out there. I mean, Toxapex doesn't do anything anyways, as Control basically just earthquakes and heals everything. He's the one that gets hit anyways, so it really made no impact. If you want to consider that cheating, that's fine. You could just say the run ends here. But so we go ahead and transfer everything over to Escadrille here. We got like a quick look of his final setup, going into the last area by himself, and we're gonna grab Memory Mushroom. And so I think what I ended up going for here was Sword Dance. Yeah, so I ended up taking Sword Dance because I'm thinking, alright, I can just kind of build up a couple stacks and just sweep through. And so we do end up getting rid of Fissure, I think. Yeah, we get rid of Fissure, which, spoiler alert, was probably a terrible idea. And then right there, we're just going to release everybody, and then pretty much we take a little bit of a chance, just assuming he's not going to be able to do much to me, and I was pretty much right, and we have time to set up 3 Swords Dance, which is pretty good. And I probably should have went in and just thrown out a Sandstorm just for the heck of it, but I didn't. And so I really thought about taking another Soft Sand right here, but I really needed a health, and I had plenty of money saved up, so I thought I could just keep re-rolling, so I went and got the Max Potion there. And then Iron Thorns is no problem, just gonna Earthquake and take him out real quick. And so we just hit max level. So we get another Memory Mushroom right here. And so I was taking a quick look at like my stats and what I actually had and everything. And so I was planning on replacing the Scratch. So I do make a mistake here. I should have went for Metal Claw, but for some reason I was thinking Crush Claw was Steel type. So I ended up taking that in place of Scratch, which Metal Claw would have been a much better choice. But I don't know, with all the Silk Scarves, I think I might be getting a better boost from Crush Claw. So that's possible. Alright, so just to keep things consistent, I had to make another mistake here. So I kept re-rolling to get a better potion. And for some reason, instead of re-rolling again, I was just like, oh yeah, Super Potion, that'll work. So we go into this fight with Ivy that I completely forgot about when I did all that setup and everything, with barely any health. And so I was like, man, I really wish I still had Fissure right now. That would be a pretty good lucky try. So I go for Earthquake, it does a third damage, and Excadrill just dies, just immediately. So, long story short, can you Nuzlocke PokeRogue? Yes, probably. Can I? No. But I will, I'm gonna keep trying. And if I do get a successful run, I'll probably post another one of these. Probably much better edited and formatted and everything. I have to start paying myself some more. And with that, if you're still watching, just want you to know I appreciate the support. Keep it up. If you like the video, drop a like. If you want to see more PokeRogue videos and other roguelikes, make sure you subscribe, tap the little bell icon so you can stay up to date. And I'll catch you later. Yeah. Yeah. I am not re-editing this.